On June 9, 1908, the King of England, Edward VII, son of Queen Victoria, became the first ever British monarch to visit Russia. He met Tsar Nicholas II, who was not only the Tsar of Russia, but also his nephew. The historical meeting took place on the waters of the Bay of Reval, today's Tallinn in Estonia. Tsar Nicholas, with his family and their retinue, among whom were Prime Minister Stolypin and Count Fredericks, arrived by train at Reval on May 27. They then boarded the Russian Imperial Yacht Standart. These same waters had long served as a stage for imperial encounters, yet the gathering that was now taking shape carried a weight none of the earlier meetings had known. For the first time, a reigning king of Great Britain was coming in person to the Russian Empire. Edward had visited Russia once before, in 1866, but only as Prince of Wales, attending the wedding of the future Tsar, Alexander III. Reval's roadstead had seen imperial reviews and meetings across the 19th century, yet none had carried the same diplomatic consequence. As the imperial family crossed the short stretch of water in their small boat and stepped aboard the Standart, the quiet decks of the yacht became the setting for a moment that would quietly reshape the relations between two great powers. The Dowager Empress Maria also arrived at Reval by train on that same day, together with her second son, Grand Duke Michael, and her daughter, Grand Duchess Olga. As the Dowager Empress arrived, she brought with her the full weight of her position as the imperial matriarch. Her presence was more than ceremonial. She was the sister of Queen Alexandra of Britain. The meeting that was about to take place between King Edward and Tsar Nicholas was therefore not only a diplomatic encounter between uncle and nephew. It was also a gathering of the closely linked Danish and Russian royal houses, bound by the two sisters, who had once left Copenhagen for distant thrones. In that light, the Dowager's arrival, accompanied by her son and daughter, formed an essential part of the historical moment unfolding at Reval. Together with his wife, Queen Alexandra, King Edward arrived on June 9 at Reval, on the British royal yacht Victoria and Albert. They joined the Russian imperial family on board the Russian yacht Standart. The imperial yacht was crowded with guests. On board, Nicholas greeted the British king with the following words.
"It is with feelings of the deepest satisfaction and pleasure that I welcome your Majesty, and Her Majesty the Queen, to Russian waters. I trust that this meeting, while strengthening the many and strong ties which unite our houses, will have the happy results of drawing our countries closer together, and of promoting and maintaining the peace of the world."
The friendly relationship between Russia and Britain had been severely strained just 2 years prior to the historical meeting between uncle and nephew. The visit was planned to take place in 1906, but was cancelled after the Dogger Bank incident, which almost led to a war between Russia and Britain. It occurred in October 1904, when a Russian Navy fleet attacked several British fishing boats, killing 3 British sailors, having mistaken them for enemy vessels due to severe fog conditions. The incident caused a serious diplomatic conflict between Russia and Britain, but was settled after Russia paid a large compensation to the surviving fishermen. Known as the Uncle of Europe, Edward VII was related to nearly every other ruling dynasty in Europe. His wife, Alexandra of Denmark, was the aunt of Tsar Nicholas, and Tsarina Alexandra was also Edward's niece. Among his numerous relatives were Queen Victoria of Spain, Crown Princess Margaret of Sweden, and King George I of Greece. Princess Victoria, King Edward's and Queen Alexandra's unmarried daughter, remained her mother's constant companion and accompanied them to Reval, a quiet but steady presence within the wider family circle. However, there was one relation whom Edward did not like: his nephew, German Kaiser Wilhelm II. His difficult relationship with the German Kaiser increased tensions between Germany and Britain. The arrival of Edward VII to Russia was considered a necessary royal confirmation of the recently negotiated Anglo-Russian Entente of 1907. In this pact, Britain and Russia settled their colonial disputes in Persia, Afghanistan, and Tibet. This agreement brought the Triple Entente into existence, an important alignment of Great Britain, France, and Russia in World War I, which would start within 4 years of Edward's death. The meeting at Reval had been carefully prepared as both a family reunion and a deliberate act of state. By exchanging the rank of admiral of each other's fleets, Edward and Nicholas gave public form to the understanding reached the previous year in the Anglo-Russian Entente. Contemporary observers in Russia spoke of a feast of peace. British and Russian officials alike noted an atmosphere of unusual cordiality and trust, markedly different from the strained encounters that marked relations with the German court. Around the long tables, and in the formal gatherings that followed, the personal ties of kinship were allowed to reinforce the political alignment of the two empires. In that brief interval, the sovereigns of Britain and Russia stood together as uncle and nephew, and as the visible embodiment of a new understanding between their countries.
The meeting at Reval between King Edward VII and the imperial family was one of those rare moments when personal kinship and high diplomacy briefly aligned. The Romanov project is devoted to careful historical inquiry, drawing on primary sources, rare archives, and a clear-eyed examination of the imperial family as they truly were. Our aim is to separate myth from reality, and to restore a fuller, more human understanding of their lives and times. We aim to publish a new video every Tuesday and Friday. If this work speaks to you, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and join us on our journey. Thank you for watching. See you next time.